And welcome to the latest episode of Nerds Amalgamated. With me, I have the DJ.
Hey guys.
How you going there? What have you been up to?
Slaving away, uni assignments and all.
Are you surviving the week 6 meltdown of assignment overload?
Kinda. It's getting to me, but you gotta truck her on. You gotta truck it on.
Are you a big mother trucker? Are you?
Well, not yet, not yet. But I'll eventually become a big mother trucker.
Okay. And also with us, we have the professor.
Hello.
And I know you are a big mother trucker.
Yep. I have a well-developed lunch muscle.
And what else have you been up to? What's happening?
Fixing my computers after my comment last week where I said my phone's broken, my computer's broken, my laptop's broken, and work.
Sounds absolutely exciting.
It is.
Well,
I had one of my dumber tickets this week. The guy who called me over because his computer wasn't turning on, and I just pressed the power button and it worked.
Did you ask him how he managed to find his way out of bed?
No, because he actually wasn't at his desk when I went over to check on it. He'd gone to a meeting, but left me a ticket just before he went.
Please tell me he's not the boss of the company.
He's not.
That's good. Anyway, we should probably get a start off on the show. First up this week, I've got a quick story that I reckon you guys will probably enjoy about jellyfish-inspired electronic skin that can heal itself when wet. It's just sounding very science fiction.
You know what this reminds me of? The bug in Super Mario 64, where they use the same variable to store your health and your oxygen meter. So diving into water would reset your health to full.
Okay. I was initially, when I first saw it, I was just thinking, all they need to do now is work out some way of combining this with the skin of the tapia fish or whatever from Brazil that they're using for skin. Yeah, for skin grafts. Because then they could make special wetsuits for firefighters. So when they go in to fight fires, they can have that on them to help prevent burns and so forth.
You mean the tilapia fish?
Well, yeah, whatever it's called, but yeah. It's just pretty interesting idea that's being conducted here, and it's from the National University of Singapore. So, yeah, quite interesting that we're seeing some fantastic research coming out from different sources around the world these days. So
this is gonna be a very groundbreaking sort of experimentation in the world of nanotechnology and biochemistry.
Mm-hmm. It's very it's pretty trippy when you look at some of the details in the article, because it's a polymer that's also 3D printable. So I'm not sure exactly how that's going to go, but yeah.
Can you imagine they use this for making bulletproof vests?
No.
No?
Well, it's only it's only repairing. It's not bullet resistant.
Oh no! I meant like imagine repairing after. Imagine the skin repairing after bullet fight.
Yeah, it does sound like when you see in sci-fi movies, like the doctor runs over with a spray gun and sprays you with the stuff that makes your arm grow back.
Yeah, well, they've already got a spray like that for sealing wounds, but yeah, for something making your arm grow back, be pretty cool. But I can't see this being appropriated to make bulletproof vests for repairing. But yeah.
Yeah, I doubt it'll have the sort of durability you need in a bulletproof vest.
And I'm just looking at the original article here, and I'm not even, well, the abstract only at the moment, but I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce the names of the people involved, because I can guarantee you that I'll probably get them wrong.
Do you have any idea, DJ?
Maybe not. I wouldn't even try. I wouldn't even try.
Really? That's disappointing.
Quick, throw it up in that group chat and get our Singaporean friend to translate for us. I'm sure he'll get back to us before the end of the podcast, right?
He probably would, but whether or not he's got time to actually do it on voice. But
the other applications for this sort of tech would be interesting. Like if you put it into a big picture sort of perspective. I mean, swimsuits would be pretty cool. Like swimsuit stuff would be one aspect.
You seem to have a fixation on fashion.
Oh no, I'm just thinking more like in terms of sports suits, like sports swim. Like remember when they had the Olympics and how we Australia was the forerunners in swimsuit technology.
I don't see how spray on repairing materials will help with clothing, though.
Well, unless if you're a lifeguard and all.
Well,
is a lifeguard going to get injured in a situation where they absolutely need to have this stuff that just heals them? So it's an electronic skin, so we might be barking up the wrong tree. It's not really for humans, I think.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, the only way you'd be using it for lifeguards is ocean rescue sort of stuff, where you
yes,
have something light up. But it's a 3D printability that's got a potential for creating transparent circuit boards.
So it
with our submarine the other week.
Yeah, it's transparent, stretchable, and heals in aquatic environments. You could build your life raft out of this. So your ship's going down, you just set up your 3D printer, pump out a couple of the boats, and sail away.
Yeah, or you could just have it as our automatic submarine that we were talking about the other week. You could have this to create a shell to go over the top. So if you actually you use it for inserting people into hostile environments. They've got a sunroof sort of canopy, so the guys can be sitting inside and watching. And because that's a circuit board aspect, you could have it so it's got heads-up display sort of functionality. And because it's in the water, it would continuously be repairing itself. The other people who could use it would be Apple, because their mobile phones are always breaking.
Oh no.
Or in the toilet.
You remember that meme? Yes, actually. Where is this coming from, DJ?
What? You never heard of stories? People saying like, my phone's in the toilet. I've dropped my phone in the toilet bowl kind of stories. I dropped my iPhone in the toilet bowl kind of thing. You never had that story?
Yes, I have heard it.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I know someone who's done it, who will not be named because she's probably listening, and I don't want to be homeless.
Too late now.
You're in the doghouse now.
On another note, if anyone has a spare room, we have a nerd in dire need of emergency accommodation. You're going to say something there, Professor.
Yeah. Oh, no, I've lost it.
You're basically saying about the iPhone and the toilet bowl.
Yeah, before that, I started saying something, then I was like, no, wait, let me go back to that iPhone thing.
Yeah.
But I've completely lost it now, so...
Actually, we were talking about Apple and how, and you were saying, oh my god, Apple.
Oh, yes. Do you remember the 4chan troll, where they were like, the newest iPhone update unlocks waterproofing?
No, I haven't heard that one before.
Yeah,
it's
I do.
One of the famous ones.
And I remember Apple having to release an announcement saying that if you do actually attempt this and you damage your phone, it's not covered by warranty. Because apparently people were stupid enough to actually do it.
Yeah, just like the microwave troll.
Hey, you got to remember one thing, that there are some actually pretty crazy people out there. Because I remember back when microwaves were first coming big in Australia, back in the early 80s, we heard a story about a lady, and I still don't know whether she was in Australia or I heard it was New York. Her cat had got caught out in the rain. So to dry her cat off, she put it in the microwave.
Oh, no.
And, yeah.
Oh, no.
Furline microwave.
Oh,
Yeah, I've heard of that happening a couple of times with small animals.
Yeah, my parents heard that and they made sure they grabbed my brothers and I and said, "You're not allowed to do this to see if it works."
yeah. I heard the whole microwave cat thing after people were copying that from a Beavis and Butthead episode.
Oh no, it goes back to the 80s.
That sucks.
That would have sucked more for the cat.
Yeah.
But they're just picturing the situation. What do you reckon was the last thing that went through his mind? His jawbone or his larynx? And on that fabulous note, I think we better move on before.
Let's keep it going before Peter comes and shuts us down.
Well, I was just going to go for the first bingo move of the night. Yeah, that everyone wants to be a cat. If they listen to us, we'll be rather upset.
Yeah. Although we now have more subscribers than them, so.
But we don't want to upset them. Come on, play nice. They're very nice people.
They are. Check out that podcast at that'snotcanon.com.
Show them some love. So let's quickly move along and hope we don't get noticed too bad. You've got a story about Dwarf Fortress, Professor.
Right. So have you guys ever played Dwarf Fortress?
Not that I've heard of. No.
I've played a dwarf in a fortress in D&D.
Completely different things. Okay. So it's basically the most complex management game ever made.
Okay.
And it gets to the point where you have hilarious bugs like cats walking through a puddle of spilled booze, then licking the fluid off their paws and dying of alcohol poisoning. Or another famous one was being dipped in water, then walking past a hot thing would cause your body fat to ignite.
Only the body fat?
Yeah, your body fat. It was a bug, so...
Well, if it's only the body fat, I'll let it go for probably a minute or two and then roll around.
I think he could, because for whatever reason, the bug would just burn off the body fat and leave you with a bunch of incredibly skinny dwarfs.
You and I need to investigate this and see if we can make it a reality.
No, we are not throwing the small people into the furnace.
Hey, don't laugh, TJ. You're the small person.
You sure about that? I'm not that small.
You're smaller than either of us. So, the developers of that have basically one guy and his brother, and the brother really only does a bit of the design and the music, as far as I understand it. But they have been making it for the past decade only on donations. And now, after they've had a health scare, they've realized if it happens again, they're going to be completely wiped out by the expenses, which, discussions about American healthcare aside, they've decided to team up with some of the community members who have made custom graphics packs for it, because the game itself runs entirely using the keyboard and different letters to represent the characters, like the old roguelike games.
Sweet.
So they have decided that after their health scare, they need to build up some funds just in case it happens again. And they're releasing on Steam with art and music done by some community members via the publisher Kitfox.
Well, sounds good.
I think that's the way to go these days.
This is looking and sounding a lot like the old like shareware stuff used to be.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's been available for free since it came out. And it's really a labor of love for the developers.
Yeah, it looks pretty impressive.
Let's just hope EA or Bethesda or someone doesn't get involved and put in loot boxes and microtransactions.
And before Epic buys exclusivity.
Oh, speaking of Epic buying exclusivity, did you guys hear about Borderlands 3?
Yeah.
How that's now on Epic? Oh.
But
it's an epic or an epic failure?
I would say epic failure, but...
I don't think the Addams brothers... Actually, I wonder how many of them are. Are they an Addams family?
They're crazy and the kooky.
So, I don't think the Addams brothers are likely to let that happen.
That's good.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's the way to go nowadays. If you want to get your game noticed, like in terms of funding and whatnot, you can go through Patreon and GoFundMe's. I think that's the way to go nowadays.
Well, there's 330,000. No, sorry, 33,000 games on Steam now.
Mm-hmm. I like the
But
fact. Sorry, I was just going to say I like the fact they're actually encouraging modders to add stuff to the game and create their own content and so forth.
yeah, and it simulates the world to a level of detail that each individual body part is calculated against. There's proper water physics. There's been a couple of times where I've accidentally completely flooded my fortress. So water physics, it's not like direct control like in The Sims. It's more of a you designate an area, and your dwarves who are designated as woodcutters will go to that area and cut down the trees, or you mark out where you want to mine, and when they're done eating, they'll go and mine that out.
Cool.
But I think it's going to be an instant buy for me when it does eventually come out on Steam, because I've gotten way more than almost any other game worth of value out of it.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, it's going to be $20 US.
Yeah, nice cheap introductory price too.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually pretty impressed with this. I like the entire attitude and the way they're doing. Like they've built it up and they've really worked on it and made it so it's fun. They're not excluding any private modifications as long as the community's being shared with, and they're not overcharging.
And the engine will continue to be updated for free. So you're basically paying for the graphics packs, because they're going to have two branches of the game, one that you can download for free from their site, but will still have the retro graphics, and one that will be on Steam. So even if you prefer the retro graphics, you can still buy the one on Steam and support the developers and get the same experience you would using the retro graphics.
Awesome. What do you reckon, DJ? You going to play this?
Yeah, man, I would love to see it. I would like to try this out. When it comes out on Steam, yeah, I'll give it a whirl.
Awesome.
I mean, this is. I think we're seeing after the disasters we've seen with all the AAA studios recently. I think prophetically we once said that this is the rise of the indies.
Again, after the rise of the indies that happened 2 years ago, and the one that happened 5 years ago.
Well, we're seeing.
And did you know this is the year of the Linux desktop? So the 25th anniversary of Linux.
But the point being though is that it's good to see more indie developers coming up now. That's the bright side of it, because we're seeing how bad these studios are becoming now, like with the recent Anthem disaster and EA and an exclusive and Steam going at each other's throats. It's good to see like a group of people just saying we're sick and tired of these big namers screwing themselves up. We're gonna do our own thing, and they're doing it well. They're doing it really well.
Mm-hmm. It's a return to the gaming as it used to be back decades ago when it was fun.
I'm just hoping they don't become like what happened to Kingdom Come Deliverance, in terms of they did well with their first game and then they got bought out by Deep Silver.
That kind of happens anyway, though. So I can't imagine them selling out, because this is such a labor of love for the developers that I can't imagine them wanting to do anything else.
Yeah, they were
these guys have been working on this for a while, and they still haven't sold out yet. So, but moving along, tell us about Arkham Knight, DJ.
So DC Comics have celebrated their 1000th issue with a story by Peter J. Tomasi and Doug Mankey, introducing Batman Arkham Knight, which is a character originally from the Batman Arkham Knight video game, and that's quite interesting how they're introducing a video game character into the comics.
Mm-hmm.
So for spoilers, In the game.
No, don't give out spoilers.
Alright, I won't give out the spoilers. Alright. But yeah, so it's interesting how we're seeing this version of Arkham Knight in the Batman comics finally.
Mm-hmm.
So is the Arkham Knight not Batman?
No, he's not. No, you have to play the game to figure it out.
Okay.
Or go by the actual comics, because I'll
Like-
have his backstory.
Yep, if there's one thing they can't resist in a comic, it's a backstory.
But you got to have the backstory.
So in this case, Arkham Knight's philosophy seems to be that he's blaming Batman for something, and he's saying that Arkham Knight is the hero Gotham deserves, but not the one that it needs right now. That's one of the author's version of the character seems to be saying.
What? They're
Yeah.
picking on Batman. Like, I'm sorry, but that's stupid. Like, Batman will always find you, and he will beat you up.
But I like this idea how we're switching from one medium into another in terms of so from video games, it's now gone to comics. I think we've seen that in a lot of issues, like recently with Spider-Man, the game. How Spider-Man, the game came out and it was a big success. Marvel came in and said, we're going to make a comic book after the game, basically.
Okay.
But the problem I'm having is how do you continue a story after the game? That's my concern.
Retcon. Because if there's another thing comics can't resist, it's retconning.
Aha!
But they've had the evolution of different characters in different comics, such as we've had the evolution of Robin into Nightwing and so forth. So there's always a way they can evolve and grow.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from in terms of evolving and growing, but then the writers won't be. The problem I'm seeing is the game writers are not the same as comic book writers.
Well, that's good because the comic book writers are less constricted and they come up with much more crazy stuff because they just got to draw a picture. Game writers have got to have something that can be turned into a game and be interactive.
Yeah, it's not like anyone's complaining that Iron Man isn't being written by Stan Lee anymore, are they?
Actually, they probably will be because it's going to go downhill now.
Yeah, with the recent introduction of new Iron Man characters, yeah. Yes.
Still a better name than Uncanny X-Men. How do we describe these X-Men? Ah, verily, forsooth, the correct word is uncanny.
I'm actually surprised that a hippie was able to say those words.
I'm not a hippie.
That's saying something. That is saying something.
I haven't seen Avengers Infinity War. I'm not a hippie.
Uh-huh. I think we might just move along quietly now, avoid the landmines. So what game have you been playing this week, DJ?
I've been playing a bit of Apex Legends, and competition's been heating up lately with the battle pass being intact, with the battle pass introduced and all.
Okay.
It's getting.
So, have you unlocked any new characters?
No, unfortunately, I haven't. I wish I could, but yeah, they cost a lot of money. They cost a lot of resource, in-game currency just to unlock one character, and I don't want to risk that.
Okay.
Like, there hasn't been. Actually, there hasn't. After Octane, I don't think there hasn't been any new character at all.
I thought it was supposed to be like because you had the two unlockables, and then I thought there was a new one that was come out.
Yeah, the new one was Octane, but yeah,
Octane.
after that, nothing quite like it. No.
Okay.
But yeah, it's. I like to see more stuff going on in that game. But apparently, actually, now that you mention it, there was news a couple of minutes ago about how Apex Legends got shut down because of server issues.
Okay.
Luckily, I didn't play.
Because Professor Yule was something about changing your server to, was it Europe or something? Change the reward process or something like that.
Yeah, to Belgium. The issue was that in Belgium, loot boxes are illegal, which I believe we've discussed before. So instead of giving you a loot box, which the standard looting process is to play the game, get your loot boxes, crack them open, and recycle any parts you get that you've already got, or that you don't want, so you can make new ones. Instead, you just get straight up credits.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds fair enough and a lot less complicated and more user friendly.
And it takes out the element of the gambling narrative as well.
Yeah, so that was the main concern of blocking the loot boxes to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Just takes away that little gambling kick.
So what game have you been playing, Professor?
I got in a couple of rounds of Counter-Strike Global Offensive Danger Zone. It's the Counter-Strike Battle Royale mode. I haven't played Counter-Strike Go much outside of LAN parties, so I suck at it even more than I usually suck at Battle Royale games. But I think it's an interesting twist on the genre. You drop into your destination, which you pick on the map. Everyone drops at the exact same time because you've all got individual helicopters and you all spawn right above your chosen location. Then you run around doing the usual loot kill stuff, but you can find cash and use that to order a supply drop using a drone, which I believe enemies can shoot down and steal your loot.
Okay.
I haven't seen that myself yet, though, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was possible.
So how many Russians have you encountered in your CSGO game?
None yet, but I haven't been playing with voice on.
Oh.
But they've got the danger zone circle around the outside and the random artillery bombings. But what I think is really interesting is that they give you a tablet that shows the game map and various details depending on how much you've leveled it up by buying upgrades in-game. I believe the tablet upgrades reset between rounds, but you can buy ones that will show you enemy drones flying over and stuff. But they put in markers on each sector of the map that has a player in it, whether that's you or someone else. So you always have a target to move towards. And I think that gives it a much more dynamic and faster pace.
So it's harder to hide in camp.
Yeah, you can definitely still do that, but it does tell everyone where you are within like 100 meters or whatever it works out to be.
Okay. Sounds like it's a bit of an improvement over the old CSGO. Just wondering though, they got Counter-Strike Global Offensive, Counter-Strike Global Offensive Danger Zone. How many more words are they going to add into the title?
Counter-Strike Global Offensive Danger Zone Black Site is what I thought it was called for a few minutes the other night, because there's only one map available at the moment, and when you load into the game, it comes up at the top saying Danger Zone Black Site.
Okay.
So I assume the game mode was called Danger Zone Black Site.
I'm just thinking like they'll do the Battle Royale, and then there'll be Battle Royale evolution into pursuing missions in story mode. So it'll be Counter-Strike Global Offensive, Danger Zone.
No, you got to go full dodgy Chinese app. Clash of Counter-Strike, Battle Zone, Danger Royale. You have the Screamy Man as the logo.
You're really picking on the Chinese the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, my brother's going there in a couple of months, so if they decide that because he's associated with me, they'll lock him up, I'm not going to complain too much.
That's a nice attitude to have. Just remember, apparently there was a Chinese lady who tried to get into the president's compound in America the other day, and she wasn't very secret agent about it either.
Oh, that's a hilarious story going on.
Maybe she didn't have a good enough computer to get into the accomplish her mission.
Yeah, she had a USB stick with malware on it, but she obviously needed a faster USB stick so she could have more add-ons.
Well, it was also the she had a lot of stuff, but then she was jumping up and down and yelling and screaming at them when they intervened and apprehended her, and saying she was there for some conference that wasn't there, and then she was from something else, and it was a beautiful story to hear on the news. It made me laugh. So, Any Chinese listeners that are listening to us, we love you.
Except the Fortnite.
I don't care about Fortnite. Never played the game. Not likely to. But moving along, I suppose. We got the shout-outs. So we have the founding of the Royal Air Force on the 1st of April, 1918. But there would have been a few people that day that would have been thinking, is this some sort of April Fool's joke? Then on the 2nd of April, 1877, we have Flash Bang, it's the human cannonball. So an excited crowd looked up in astonishment and wonder when, in 1877, the first human cannonball flew above their heads. And then they all wanted to know what he had to eat.
I was going to say, being a human cannonball is a pretty shitty superpower.
Well, I don't know. Juggernaut's kind of like a human cannonball, isn't he?
There is a
Juggernaut's out of X-Men. Not Marvel, X-Men.
There is a superhero by the name of Cannonball, actually. And his superpower is jet propulsion and ability to create a nigh impenetrable blast field while in flight.
Yep, that's the exactly what we're talking about with this guy here.
Except in this story, I reckon he didn't actually create an impenetrable force field in front of him, because they normally shoot them out and into a net. I think if you fired this guy at a brick wall, he would just gone splat, and they would have had to hose him up. 2nd of April, 1992, Mafia boss John Gotti is found guilty of 5 murders. I won't read out all the names. And also for conspiracy to murder, loan sharking, illegal gambling, obstruction of justice, bribery, and tax evasion. Yeah, was that the case that got Mayor Giuliani elected into office as the mayor of New York? Was he involved in that one?
I think that's the one.
Because he was famous for busting the mob. So, yes.
Yeah, I think that is the one. Yeah, there was a story. There was a story about that. Yeah.
Okay. Time for remembrances. The 2nd of April, 1872. Samuel Morse, American painter and inventor, after having established his reputation as a portrait painter, in middle age he contributed to the invention of a single-wire telegraph system based on European telegraphs. He was a co-developer of the Morse code and helped to develop the commercial use of telegraphy. He died of pneumonia at the age of 80 in number 5 West 22nd Street, New York.
That's a very detailed location.
Mm-hmm. I don't know whether there's actually a museum there, but if there's not, there should be. Also, if there's not, it'd be a great place to buy the land and have a house. 2nd of April, 2005, Pope John Paul II was the head of the Catholic Church and sovereign of the Vatican City State from 1978 to 2005. He is one of the most travelled world leaders in history, visiting 129 countries during his pontificate. He did a lot of things where he apparently beatified and canonized a lot of people, making them saints and so forth, more than the combined tally of his predecessors during the preceding 5 centuries. So, yes, well done. You're going to say something there, were you?
Nope.
No.
Oh, just breathing heavy. Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. Just thought I heard something there. 4th of April, 2007, Karen Spock Jones was a British computer scientist who was responsible for the concept of inverse document frequency, technology that underlies most modern search engines. In 2019, the New York Times published her belated obituary in its series Overlooked, calling her a pioneer of computer science for work combining statistics and linguistics, and an advocate for women in the field. She died of cancer at the age of 71 in Willingham, Cambridgeshire. So here we have another lady who has had such a massive impact on the world of computer science. we'll take a little moment to just admire her achievements. On the 1st of April, 1875, Edgar Wallace, one of the world's most prolific authors, had his birthday. Well, it would have been his birthday if he was still alive, I should say. His theme usually involved crime and mystery, but he also created King Kong. He was born in Greenwich, Kent. 2nd of April, 742. We have the birthday of Charlemagne. United most of Western Europe for the first time since the Roman Empire and spurred the Carolingian Renaissance. And he was referred to as the father of Europe, born in the Frankish Kingdom. 4th of April, 1979.
And just on Charlemagne, he's the only emperor to have a metal album made about him by Christopher Lee.
Are you going to sing us the love song?
No, I don't know the words.
Oh. On the 4th of April, 1979, Heath Ledger, Australian actor, director, all-round top bloke and legend, was born. After performing roles in several Australian television and film productions during the 90s, Ledger left for the United States in 1998 to further develop his career. He's got a list of amazing movies that he was involved in, including The Patriot, A Knight's Tale, Monsters Ball, Lords of Dogtown, Brokeback Mountain, Casanova, The Dark Knight, etc., etc. Sadly missed. Leaving, but was it? He only had one daughter, was it?
Yeah, one daughter, Matilda, I think her name is. Yeah.
What's your favourite Heath Ledger movie?
You want to go, Buck?
No. Ladies first.
No, I think you mean the elders. I'll take The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight by far.
The Dark Knight by far.
The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight would always is still the best Ledger performance I've ever seen.
I really enjoy A Knight's Tale.
I was going to say that's my favourite of his. He's my favourite Joker, but yeah.
Did you guys ever like Brokeback Mountain?
I've only seen it once, but I didn't really enjoy it.
I think I still haven't actually seen that one.
I mean, there was a lot of people say if the Dark Knight and the Knight's Tale or the Patriot were not around, they would say Brokeback Mountain people still love Brokeback Mountain. I don't know why, but I still love Brokeback Mountain. That's
okay. You can admit to enjoying Brokeback Mountain.
I haven't seen it either. I mean, I've heard people saying that Brokeback Mountain was the good Ledger movie.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I don't get it, but I'm not going to complain about people enjoying a movie.
No.
Yeah.
It's just one of those movies I just haven't got around to watching yet. Because was he in Cold Mountain or no? He wasn't, was he? Who was in Cold Mountain?
That was Cold Mountain, the film. That was by Jude Law.
Jude Law, that's it. Another bloke who's just very down to earth sort of actor. If you don't know the history of Heath, we've got a link there. You can go and have a bit of a look. You can go and watch some of his movies, have a marathon. And if you start dancing and singing like he did in 10 Things I Hate About You, try to make sure you keep it in tune. Events of interest, 2nd of April, 1902. We have the Electric Theatre, the first full-time movie theatre in the United States, opens in Los Angeles, California. And everyone told him it wasn't going to succeed and make money. 2nd of April, 1921, Albert Einstein lectures in New York City on his new theory of relativity. It would have been fun to go and actually sit there and listen to him talk about it.
Yeah, it'll probably go way over our heads, but if you've ever seen a photo of him lecturing, his students all seem very intently focused on him.
Yeah, I remember hearing stories about him when he was wandering around some of the different universities and so forth in America, and he was a practical joker. But he was also one of those people that if he was having a conversation and you didn't quite understand it, he would try to make sure he would try to explain it in a way that you would actually understand. So, yeah. He's one of those people who could talk in a manner that nobody could understand, but he would try to make sure that he could explain it in the simplest of terms. Fun to learn physics from him. 2nd of April, 1968, 2001, A Space Odyssey, directed by Stanley Kubrick, and starring Keir Dullea and Gary Lockwood, premieres at Uptown Theatre in Washington, D.C. Still one of the most iconic movie opening scenes in all of history.
Yeah. And it's still worth seeing in the theatre today.
Oh, yeah. Have you actually watched that one yet, DJ?
No, but I've been meaning to.
Shame.
How are you going to be able to know that you're doing the monkey scene right? Anyway.
I'm more focused on whether I can imitate that voice that
Which voice?
That the Simpsons spoofed off.
You mean the voice of Hal, the robot?
Yep.
But anyway, I think that's everything for this episode. How can people contact us? What's our email address?
Our email address is at nerds.amalgamated@gmail.com.
And our Twitter?
N.amalgamated. My Twitter is at @namalgamated. Sorry.
That's all right. And if they want to listen to the podcast on a different location to where they are now, what's all the various places they can listen to us and download us?
We're on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, on our website as well.
Awesome. And we're also on Facebook. Yeah. Any final thoughts for the week there, guys?
Well, just mentioning Facebook, I found out today that Facebook has been storing their passwords in plain text. So if you use the same password for Facebook as for other sites, it might be worth going and just changing that, just to be on the safe side. But I have nothing else to add.
Have you just collapsed the value of Facebook? Have you destroyed Facebook the same as we destroyed Apple? Because apparently Apple's lost the value to the equivalent of Facebook. They're trying to say it's because of China, but we all know it's because we said that they suck.
So Apple has gone down in value the same amount as Facebook's total value.
Yes.
That's insane.
But they're blaming China.
Yeah.
They're not actually blaming us, even though it is us, because we keep saying that their phones suck. But yeah. Yeah. Other than that, on that disappointing note for Apple and Facebook, I guess it's time to say take care of each other and stay hydrated. If you see a penguin, say hello.
Oh, the DJ is very distant now.
You want to say goodbye? There you go.
See you guys.
Hooroo.
Enjoy your week. See you next time.